In this video, we will talk about Top 10 Places to Visit in New York City. So make sure to watch the full video. New York is one incredible place to visit, especially with all the cool areas of the city to explore. This is no truer than with Manhattan, one of the 5 boroughs that make up the Big Apple. With some of the best things to do in New York, Manhattan has a shed load of things to explore. Now, if it's your first time to the city, you'll likely be rushed off your feet when going around exploring all the different areas and sites that are dotted all across the neighborhoods. Number 1. Top of the Rock. Perched on top of the Rockefeller Center, visiting Top of the Rock is one of the best things to do in Manhattan if you love a good view. Now there are quite a few viewpoints in the city, but for me, this is one of the classics. Plus, you get a picture-perfect view of the Empire State Building too. Now, if you want to go, make sure to book your tickets in advance, especially if you want to check out the sunset from here. Tickets fill up faster for popular times, like the sunset slots, so book it before you arrive. Number 2. Visit the Vessel. Okay, so the Vessel is one of the newer art installations in New York. Perched in Hudson's Yard, not too far from Hell's Kitchen, it's a sight to behold. Now, it's totally free to enter, but you will need to book a time slot online before you visit. It's best to do weeks in advance, especially if you're not flexible with your times. Seeing the Vessel is easily one of the best things to do in Manhattan that's totally unique. I've never seen anything like it. Number 3. Visit the Morgan Library. Not too far from the Empire State Building, the Morgan Library was once the private library on J.P. Morgan. After his death, he wrote it into his will that he wanted it open to the public to enjoy, which is why, almost 100 years later, you can explore. Now, you need to pay a relatively small fee for entrance, but it's totally worth it for a stroll around the reading room and library itself. A visit here might take about 50 minutes, so it's easily one of the best things to do in Manhattan if you need a little break from the hustle and bustle of the streets. It really is worth a visit, and it's so grand. Number 4. Explore the different areas of Manhattan. Although Manhattan is only one of 5 boroughs in New York, it has a treasure trove of different areas to explore. Best of all, they're totally unique and all have a different character too. If it's cool art galleries and museums you're after, Midtown with MoMA and the Upper East Side with the Guggenheim is the place to go. It's got a shed load of galleries and different museums that are well worth visiting when in the area. Filled with world-renowned art and historical artifacts, they're the kind of places you can spend hours exploring. Number 5. See Grand Central Station. Now, you might be wondering why I'd say to see a train station when recommending the best things to do in Manhattan. Well, for me at least, this is a truly stunning station to see. Honestly, the main concourse is almost palatial and it's well worth a gander whilst in the area. Plus, it's not too far from the Chrysler Building that's still one of my favorite skyscrapers in Manhattan. Oh, and you can easily walk across from here after visiting the Morgan Library too. Number 6. Walk Brooklyn Bridge. Okay, so this technically isn't Manhattan or Brooklyn for that matter, but walking the Brooklyn Bridge is something that has to be done. This is especially true if it's your first time in New York. Take a stroll across the bridge, over to Brooklyn, and get some gorgeous views of Manhattan and the wider city itself. Now, the walk will likely take you around 40 minutes, but it's well worth it. Afterwards, stop off at Dumbo in Williamsburg for an iconic New York shot of Manhattan Bridge and lunch too. We headed to Westville, and the food was so good. It really is one of the best things to do in Manhattan. Number 7. See the 9/11 Memorial Site. After the awful events of 9/11, you can't really miss a visit to pay your respects to the 9/11 Memorial Site. Here, where the Twin Towers once stood, you can take time to reflect. It's a very somber area, but a spot you really can't miss in Manhattan. Number 8. Explore Times Square. Love it or hate it, Times Square is an iconic part of Manhattan and one place everyone has to see once. Yes, it's rammed with people, and it's an overload on the senses, but you really have to see this area when in New York. With towering billboards and people from all over the world, it's the kind of place you visit for 15 minutes. Honestly, I can't spend too long here, as it's a little too much, but you kinda have to go when in New York. Number 9. Walk the High Line. Made from issued metro lines, the High Line is one of the best things to do in Manhattan if you fancy a stroll. Nowadays, these lines have been transformed into green walkways that are perfect on a sunny day. If it's brunch you're after, pop into Bubby's that serves up some tasty pancakes. Number 10. Central Park. Often said to be the lungs of New York, Central Park is an iconic part of Manhattan and a place that's easy to enjoy. Perched just past Midtown, you can head to Central Park during any season. There's always something going on, and you can't really miss it. If you're visiting in the winter, head out ice skating in the park. If you arrive in the summer, go boating on the lake. Alternatively, if it rains, pop over to the American Museum of Natural History. That's world-renowned. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to our channel. Before you go, thank you for watching.